by Modelo. One of the greatest knockouts you'll ever see.
Incredible. Oh, and down goes Gamboa. Whoop, there it is.
Oh, you bet you did. Valentina Shevchenko with a huge highlight tonight.
What up, brawlers? Welcome back to Throwin Hands. It's me. It's Jarrett. Jarrett, how are you doing, man?
Doing good, ready for this weekend's card. Excited that fighting's back, stuff to look for. So.
Definitely. So we got a question on our last video. This pertains to the Strickland and Mama fight. I know that's in the past, but I guess we'll discuss a little bit. So he asked, Center South 61, I think is his name. He asked, do you think size played a factor in the fight last weekend between Strickland and Imamov?
Size, not necessarily, because I think Imamov wasn't necessarily cutting. Like, he was at a healthy weight. He was only 5 pounds lighter than Strickland, right? At weigh-ins, Strickland wasn't watching what he ate. I think it was more cardio, honestly. I think Imamov's always struggled with cardio. Strickland has fairly good cardio, and I think that played a factor into it, especially with how much volume Sean was able to put up in that whole fight. I wouldn't necessarily say weight, but that being the factor, cardio instead.
Yeah. I think it did. I'm pretty sure Imamov actually weighed in at 194 and Strickland weighed in at 205, so 10 pounds.
Yeah.
And I think there was probably a little more weight behind Strickland's punches because of the weight, and he didn't have to really cut weight. None of them had to cut weight, but Strickland's always had good cardio. So I think when it comes to maybe punching power, I think the weight may have had a factor. That's how I look at it. But to the card itself, we're previewing the feature prelim all the way up to the main card. But there's one fight I do want to point out. Shamil Abdurrahimov versus Halton Almeida. Almeida, he was supposed to be light heavyweight, but he's been mowing through some people down at heavyweight. So he's just decided to stay there and not cut weight. So that's how I look at that one. I think Almeida will beat Abdurrahimov. But all right, this is important. I'm glad this is how we're starting off the show. This is Shogun Hua's last fight. And he's got Ihor Potieria, who is a legend. There's no other way to put it. Former Pride Grand Prix champ, former UFC light heavyweight champ. He didn't do as well in the UFC because a lot of his offense was based off ground strikes like axe kicks, soccer kicks, and stuff. But he still won the belt outside of his prime when he beat Machida. The dude's a legend, man. There's no other way to put it.
Yeah, absolutely. Eight knockouts in the UFC, 9 knockouts in Pride. Like, he's a complete. I heard someone say, like, he's just like a student of like violence, and like that's the exact way to put it. Like, a complete legend, has finished some of the best fighters ever in mixed martial arts. Like, I went back and watched that Pride, like his best year ever, that like Grand Prix whenever he beat Overeem and everyone else in that tournament, and that was just so fun to watch,
Yeah. When we go to news, I'll pull up Hua's record and we'll talk about it a little more. But the dude's a legend. Portera, honestly, not too educated on him, but he's a young guy. He beat Negumereanu, the Romanian dude, I'm pretty sure, or the Belgian. Negumereanu is very good, I think. I think he has a lot of potential. So this is a tough fight for retirement.
Yeah.
I wish they would have just given him somebody just to, let him, ride off into the sunset. And as much as he lost to Negumereanu, not a bad loss. My bad. My apologies. Please, Hua, get the dub. But I think Portera will win fairly handily.
Yeah,
what do you think?
This is a super unforgiving matchup. So I agree with you. I think it leans a lot more towards Pateria, but everyone wants Shogun to win. So I put on my prediction a knockout by Shogun, but hopefully that happens.
I hope that's what I want to happen. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, and Portero's not a world beater by any means. He's just young. That's how I see it going.
Yeah.
So, all right. Bear Jew versus Johnny Walker. Hell yeah. Paul Craig versus Johnny Walker. I love Paul Craig, or as he says it, Paul Krieg. I love his accent. Such a thick Scottish accent. Quite the character too. Gave Jamal Hill, who's fighting for the belt, his only loss. One of the gnarliest submissions I've ever witnessed personally. But Johnny Walker's just been on a weird streak ever since he's dislocated his shoulder. What do you think?
Yeah. He's coming off a submission win against Kudalaba, but he's got losses to Hill, Santos, Krylov. He's knocked TKO against Ryan Spann. A weird matchup. If he doesn't go into that guard with Craig, I feel like you got to give Walker the edge just on how powerful he hits. He's got both the height and reach advantage. So it's going to be tough if they stay on their feet. But if it goes to the ground and he gets in Paul Craig's guard, it's going to be extremely scary for Johnny Walker.
You make the point about you make the point about Paul Craig's guard. Johnny Walker needs to. All right, I think personally, a lot of athletes, they have an ego, and that when they're at the top, you have every right to have an ego. I think you're the best. Johnny Walker, and I don't think he will. I think he'll fight this smart, but if he sees him go to the ground, he cannot say, you know what, I'm going to challenge myself. He can't go all John Jones against Thiago Santos and challenge himself. Like, no, that you will get submitted. Ask Jamal Hill, ask Nikita Krylov. They got the brunt of it. It was bad.
And I think the scary part is like against Jamal Hill, Paul Craig didn't really set up that guard. He really just dug in a clinch and pulled him down into it from standing.
He forced
and
it
then
to
just set
happen.
his it was gross, but it was awesome.
Yeah.
If Walker keeps it on his feet though, he should win this.
There's no doubt.
Yeah. This is a weird matchup. It can go either way depending on how smart Walker goes into this,
I think the man with the great accent's going to win this one, man. I got Paul Craig. And also I need that post-fight speech so I can get my Scottish accent down. Jarrett, you don't know me that well. I love accents. It's the best thing in the world. But Paul Craig, please win. You're the man. Also, shout out the Braveheart reference. Okay, Lauren Murphy versus Jessica Andrade. Dude, I hate to be that guy. And I'll admit, Lauren Murphy has proved me wrong. And I do respect her, but I see no path to victory for her in this fight. Andrade has the speed. Lauren Murphy is very powerful. She can crack. She's just not fast. And Jessica Andrade is fast and can crack. And if it goes to the ground, I think Andrade has every advantage there as well. What do you think, man?
Absolutely. I mean, I believe this is the largest odds, the largest favorite on the main card for good reason. Andrade is a minus 460 favorite. It's crazy. It's a tough matchup for Murphy, and I think Andrade gets it done whenever she wants.
Let's take a look at Lauren. Although I will give her this. Miesha Tate was probably a little depleted when she went down to 25, but she did beat Miesha Tate. I got to give her that. And she performed phenomenally in that fight. Okay. But I really, the Calderwood fight was very, very close. I thought JoJo won that personally. But the thing with Lauren Murphy is if she wants to get back to the title shot, she needs this fight desperately.
Yeah.
She hasn't beaten anybody in the top 10, I don't think. She's kind of in a Colby Covington-esque situation. You're toward the top of the division, but if you look at your record, you haven't beaten anybody in the top 10. So if Lauren Murphy can get this dub and maybe string together one other, I mean, she's getting a little older. I think she'll prime herself for another title shot, but I got Andrade by knockout. I hate to say it.
Same here.
But respect to Lauren Murphy, man. Gilbert Burns versus Neil Magny. Gilbert Burns is willing to fight basically anybody. And I'm surprised I'm not surprised he took this Neil Magny fight. With that being said, I got Burns cracking him, dude. I think Neil Magny is an okay wrestler. You know, he's stuck around that 7 to 12 range for his whole career. But I can't see him jumping in the top 5 after Gilbert Burns win, you know?
Yeah. I don't get me wrong. I got Burns by knockout or possibly unanimous decision. I got Burns whooping him. But I do think Magny could possibly cause some frustration. You know, he does have a reach advantage. If he's able to keep the distance and just keep heavy on the jabs, keep the volume up, he's going to give Burns a little bit of frustration. And he's been a frustrating fighter in the past. But I got Burns winning this one pretty handily.
Yeah, I think if Neil Magny can stuff takedowns, he'll be chilling. But if he's gonna stand and bang with Gilbert Burns, he's gonna just have to throw that jab out there consistently and then load up on a right. That's really the only way I see Neil Magny winning this, because he's not going to win by decision. He's not going to submit Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns is an ADCC world champion, if I'm not mistaken. So you're not going to submit the dude. So I'm not saying Neil Magny doesn't have a chance, but he's got to execute his game plan perfectly and hope Gilbert Burns doesn't execute any part of his game plan. So I got
odds are pretty heavy on this one too.
Yeah. I think they're basically the same as the Andrade fight as well.
Yeah.
So I got to get, shout out to, I love Gilbert Burns. History, people, I must say. This is the fourth fight between Davison Figueiredo and Brandon Moreno. And if you don't know what's happened between these two lads, let me cue you in. They fought back in December of 2020. It was a draw. Then they fought in June of 2021. Moreno choked him out. Then they fought in January of 2022, and Davison Figueiredo won the decision, got the belt back. So it's 1-1-1 between the two of them. And Davison Figueiredo hasn't fought anybody with a different name or has not fought a different person since he was 32. He is now 35. This is how long this thing has dragged on. So hopefully we get a banger of a conclusion, Jarrett.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Moreno has had one different opponent. You know, he had that little liver kick to Kai Kara France. Other than that, you know, these two are a rivalry that we've never seen go to this length at all, ever. Like you said, it's history in the UFC. It's something that it's a toss-up every fight, and I feel like it's a toss-up this one. I can see it going either way. Looking into it with some research, like I heard some stuff that like before Moreno choked him out in that second fight, Figueiredo's like father passed away, and that like played into effect of like his mental game plan and his strategy and stuff. Moreno's going through camp changes or team changes and stuff.
Yeah, with Krause, because he was with Krause over at Glory and then betting.
That's right. Yeah. So you know, I think it can go either way. I think I want Brandon to win. That's who I'm personally cheering for. But my gut feeling is I think Figgy gets it done. That's just my gut feeling.
I won't have a conclusion until the weigh-ins today, this is the day the episode's going up. Recording it like 12 hours before it's up. But you make a good point. I think my worry is will Figueiredo make weight? He made weight cleanly last time when he was with Cejudo's camp. I hope he was with Cejudo for this camp. But in a perfect scenario, I think Figueiredo knocks him out, and then he's gonna move up to 35 and just wreak havoc up there. Dude, I hope he goes to 35. That'd be so sweet. Dude, imagine how stacked that division would be.
I know. I was thinking about that earlier too.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. But
I think low-key, Figueiredo Johnson, Mighty Mouse would be an awesome fight.
Yeah, yeah,
That would have been
yeah.
awesome, but sadly, it will never happen. Uh, Speaking of Mighty Mouse, in case you don't know, this is a few weeks ago. One's making their U.S. debut in Denver, Colorado, in May. Johnson, Moraes 3 for the one flyweight belt. Keep that in mind, guys. That's going to be a banger of a fight. I'll be sure to be on the couch watching that, and on Amazon Prime as well. Just like NFL. But anyway, Glover Teixeira is getting his title shot. If you don't know what happened last time, I'm going to cue you in. It was a draw between Magomed Ankalaev and Jan Blachowicz. Jan Blachowicz won the first 3. Magomed Ankalaev won the last 2, and the last one was a 10-8. Therefore, it was a tie, and I think it was a majority draw. So they're like, what do we do? So they got Jamal Hill, right hand go Burr versus Glover Teixeira, old man strength. I think this has all the makings to be a banger, unless Glover Teixeira has not recovered well from the Yuri Prochazka fight. And how could you blame him if he didn't?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is a style matchup done perfectly by the matchmakers. Hill struggles with the grappling. We talked about it earlier with the Paul Craig match. If Glover just goes out and starts grappling him right away, if he can close the distance, he could submit him whenever. But if he doesn't and he wants to stand and bang, then we're going to be in for something that's going to make the light heavyweight division ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Yeah. And you make the point about
either way, I think it's ridiculous. But
it's crazy. You make the point about the standing and banging. Dude, if Glover Teixeira decides to stand and bang with Jamal Hill, that'll be a very, very, very poor decision. I don't think there's many worse decisions you can make in this division, except maybe standing and banging with Yuri Prochazka, which somehow Glover Teixeira survived. But when he got in trouble, wrap the legs. But you can't blame him. That was a smart thing to do. Oh, dude, Glover was so close to winning that fight. If he had not just slipped the gilly and just stood up and punched, he would have won that fight, I think. But we're at a different point now. Dude, this whole fight, in my opinion, is contingent on how well Glover's recovered. Because if Jamal Hill touches that chin, say goodnight. His nickname is Sweet Dreams for a reason. If you haven't seen the Johnny Walker knockout, check it out. But if Glover can get it to the ground, like you said, dude, there's so many ways this fight could go. But as much as I hate to say it, I think Jamal Hill will knock him out. And I don't think it'll be pretty.
Oh,
what about you, man? What do you say?
I can't do it. My gut's telling me Glover too. My gut is telling me Glover. I just feel like he's gonna go out and get it done. I feel like he deserves it. And then I want him to retire. I want him to retire after it, man, and just keep light heavyweight at a complete toss up for what's gonna happen.
You're a menace, man.
I want to see the chaos, man. But at the same time, I feel like people who want Jamal Hill to win just want to see chaos, because if he wins and he starts 2023 as the light heavyweight champion, who was thinking that last year at this time? Seriously, who? Like, it's crazy. It's crazy.
I mean, that's just what this mess has brought about. No one thought Jamal Hill would be the champ.
It's crazy.
Dude, if Glover retires, that's just mayhem. All right, let's do a little hypothetical here. Let's have some fun.
Right.
Light heavyweight. So let's say Glover wins, and he goes, "Guys, I'm going to retire." And he, puts his that was not a bad Glover impersonation. I gotta say, I got that. I'm getting his accent down, but I love Glover. I only impersonate people whom I love. But it's another mess. Look, all right, Anthony Smith. So Yuri's out for however long. He should take a full year. So Glover's out. Magomed Ankalaev just fought. Jan Blachowicz just fought. Rakic is probably still recovering from that ACL. Anthony Smith, that's like the next option, really. But if you look at Anthony Smith, I think his last win was Jimmy Crute, and his last loss was against Magomed Ankalaev. No, he beat Ryan Spann. Although Ryan Spann right now, dude.
Yeah.
You look. All right, Reyes was never the same after the John Jones fight. It's sad. It breaks my heart. I think you and I agree.
Yeah.
But dude, he put him out with a jab. I felt terrible. But I remember getting up. Oh my gosh, a jab. But Uzdemir he's won like one in his last 3, I think. Don't quote me on that. So, dude, this division's just gonna stay vacant unless they.
Uzdemir beat Paul Craig on his last one.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Last one, he beat him by decision. Because I was thinking earlier, looking at it, honestly, if Paul Craig was supposed to win that one, he was heavily favored in that one, and he gets UD'd by Ozdemir. If he wins that match, he replaces Jamal Hill in this. Honestly,
Yeah.
to give Paul Craig the title shot against Glover instead of Jamal if we were in that alternate path.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen. And now we got Paul Craig ranked 9th. And
it's a whole mess, man. It's really a mess.
It is.
You know what? That'll do it for the preview, but we got some news to go through. All right. So UFC 285 is really shaping up, my friends. So as you heard, Jones versus Gane. Yes. But most of the fight card has been revealed. So we're going to take a look at some of the big fights. Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Jeff Neal has been moved. That was supposed to be last week. Bo Nickel versus Jamie Pickett. Jarrett, I know you love Bo Nickel, man. Jamie Pickett better prepare. And I think the only thing he should be practicing is takedown defense and more takedown defense, or maybe some submissions from a sprawl. So
yeah, just like maybe tell him to just go back in time and like train wrestling for your whole life and become like a world-class level wrestler, and then just pray, because I'm gonna be the biggest Bo Nickel super fan, man. I've been cheering for Bo Nickel since I was in middle school. I love Bo Nickel. He's probably my 3rd favorite Penn State wrestler of all time. And I'm going to be just as annoying being a Bo Nickel super fan when he's in the UFC. Like,
I don't blame you. So a couple more fights. Cody Garbrandt versus Julio Arce. Brunson versus Duplessis. Viviane Araujo versus Amanda Ribas. Good fight there. I'm cool with that. Penne versus Ricci, and Valentina Shevchenko versus Alexa Grasso for the flyweight title. Shevchenko looking for her 8th title defense. And I think she gets it done, Jarrett. There's no question in my mind that she gets it done. Grasso is not fat. She's a boxer. She is not fast enough to compete with Shevchenko.
Not even close. No one is.
No one is.
Division.
And I will say, Alexa Grasso does have sneaky grappling. So if she can find a way to mix in some takedowns and just go right to side control of the back, I think that's honestly her best way to win this fight. Because she's not going to stand and bang with Shevchenko. That's a terrible thing to do. Lauren Murphy learned. A couple other people definitely learned. Let's take a look. Tyler Santos came close to beating her. I'll give her that. Props to her. But Jennifer Maya Loki learned. Chikagian learned. I definitely learned. But yeah, don't try and stand and bang with Shevchenko. Grasso, please get to the ground. Try. It'll be tough, but I'm hoping for a good fight.
Yeah.
And also rumored on this card. Let me make sure I am correct.
Nunes, right?
Yeah, Amanda Nunes is rumored for against Irene Aldana. She fought last week. I guess they wanted to give her a quick turnaround, which I'm cool with. You can't really say much about that. But yeah, they're trying to add that title fight. First reported by Combate. Nunes is fresh off that absolute dominant performance against Juliana Pena. So we'll see what happens there, man. Irene Aldana just better stick behind that jab if this fight happens. Just jab, jab, jab. That's the only way I can see her winning this fight. Another fight, dog. Piotr Yan versus Merab Dvalishvili scheduled for March 11th. Main event at the theater at Virgin Hotels in Paradise, Las Vegas, Nevada. Dude, Piotr Yan, man, this dude. Here's my thought on it. This dude still might be the best in the division, and he's lost 3 of his last 4.
Yeah. Yep.
How many people can you say that about?
Him.
Couple more.
Did we talk about Vittori and Dolidze?
Yes, we did talk about that, but that's a fight I'm excited for. Dolidze, I love Dolidze. He's always fighting, man.
I'll say we were pretty high on him whenever after his last win.
Yeah. He beat Hermanson.
Yeah.
But 286, the London card, Fiziev and Gaethje official for the co-main. Gunnar Nelson versus Daniel Rodriguez. Gunnar Nelson will have not fought in a year when he fights. Almost a year to the day. That's crazy, but Daniel Rodriguez is no joke, man. But he needs to fight more, and he's getting a little older if he wants to get anywhere toward that title shot. And he has the boxing to do it. But age always catches up, sadly. Dude, no one wants to fight Muhammad Makayev. They're putting this Brazilian in Jafel Fiallo. Dude, someone's got to man up against Makayev, or I think the UFC just give him the title shot.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, that's
frustrating.
It's frustrating. I agree. It is frustrating. Another fight was just announced. Come on, load Marcel Dorf. That's where I get all my fight stuff from. Raul Rosas is back. The 18-year-old legend. He's back. He's fighting Christian Rodriguez at UFC 287. That does not have a main event yet. So we'll see what happens.
Nice.
Jack Shore, Makwan Amirkhani. That's another fight. Lots of good fights happening, man. Dude. And from here until now, Pavlovich versus Lewis is going to be the weakest card. And it's not even that weak of a card. For casuals, they might be like, this isn't that great. But Lewis versus Spivak, rather. But do you want to take a guess when this card starts?
What time?
Yeah, what time? Take a guess.
9.
1 a.m. Here's why, though. It was originally going to be the Korea card. So they put all these Korean fighters on it because of the Korean Zombie. But the Korean Zombie couldn't fight Giga Chikadze. But they have so many Koreans on it. I think they're like, I think we have to just keep it on there. So, yeah, man.
Nice.
Potential for a late night. Or I wake up at 9 a.m. the next morning and I just watch the card that way. And then 284. And then Vera versus Sandhagen. Then no main event for February 25th yet. Odd. That can't be right. I guess that is right. Nikita Krylov versus Ryan Spann is expected to headline. But yeah, then we got Jones versus Gane, Yan versus Washvili, Edwards versus Usman 3. Dude, it's really looking up for the first quarter of the year. I can't wait.
Absolutely.
Jarrett, yeah, man. I think this will wrap it up, man. You got anything else?
No, I'm all good. That was a great episode.
That was a good episode, man. But yeah, so one thing. I don't know if you noticed this. This is interesting, actually. And for all you guys watching, I think you guys want in on this. If it lets me go to Leon Edwards, I'll have to go to his profile rather. Okay. You'll think this is hilarious. How can I search? There we go. Edwards. You're gonna laugh your ass off. Yeah, come on. There we go. Okay, cool. All right. I'm going to share my screen and you're going to laugh. All right, Jarrett, let me ask you a question. Whose arm is that?
Oh, I forgot about that.
Because that is not Leon Edwards' arm. I could tell you that much.
Yeah.
That is Kamar Usman's arm, photoshopped onto Leon Edwards' body with the belt. And if you want proof, I could probably find it. So we're going to look here. Edwards versus Usman. They better have kept the photos the right way. Yeah, that is definitely Usman's arm. And I think they just photoshopped the blemishes out. So that's your fun fact of the day, guys. That is Kamar Usman's arm on Leon Edwards' body.
Yeah.
So that's a good tidbit. And I think that's a great way to end the episode. So, guys, I hope you had fun. I hope you laughed. I hope you just, had a good time listening to us. Views are doing great. I can't complain. But that'll do it for this episode of Throwin Hands. Jarrett, thanks for coming on per usual, man. We always have a good time.
Absolutely. We do.
Yes, indeed. So we'll see you guys next time for a review of UFC Teixeira versus Hill. See you guys later.